Hello again. So I'm Sarah, and I have been a hypnotherapist now for just over a year. I was training for a couple of years before that. And this has not been my first career. As you can probably guess, I am not a spring chicken. I used to be a biomedical scientist, and I was the manager of a cytology lab at our local hospital. And that means that I've spent a lot of years doing a lot of scientific stuff. I've done my degree in biological science first and then top up to biomedical. I've done a master's in biomedical science, and I've done a lot of work on um, cancers of the body, because that's the area of science that my department was working on. Okay, because all scientists are very, very specialised usually. And ultimately, what happened is that I reached a level of burnout which I ran myself into the ground. I was in a very high pressure job with very strict guidelines and a bit of a toxic work atmosphere. And what that meant is that I reached a point where I was not well. And I had to go on to antidepressants. I had to take time off work. And I had to start doing a little bit of soul searching to figure out how I could put me first for a change. And ultimately, my department closed and I was made redundant. And so it also meant deciding on a whole new career. Now, over the course of that time, I tried a few different things. I've had acupuncture, I've had Reiki, I've had reflexology, I've had counselling, I've had medication. You name it, I've tried it. And the thing that I thought made the most difference to me was having hypnotherapy. It helped me to just release a lot of stuff that was holding me back and helped me to sort of view myself in a different way and to start loving myself. And it really boosted my self-esteem, definitely. And I also had a life coach, found a life coach to help me with figuring out how I could use my skills moving forwards into a different career. And by doing that, I ended up loving the life coaching so much that I took a life coaching certification. And so I trained to be a life coach and a hypnotherapist, because the changes that I've seen in my life have been massive. And I want to be able to help people in the way that I was helped. And that's why I've chosen those two modalities. So a lot of the things I do, you will find, are things I've struggled with. I've struggled with overthinking. I've struggled with people pleasing. I've struggled with my self-esteem. And that's why I do what I do now. I've struggled with anxiety all my life without realising it until I reached burnout. When I realised that not everybody thinks the same way as me, not everybody is stressing so much about what people think, and not everybody is feeling sick before certain things. All these little things added up when I looked back. And so, when you come to me, you don't just come to me because I'm trained as a hypnotherapist and a life coach. You come to me because I've lived an experience that's likely to be very similar to yours. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling anxious, you may be depressed. If you've struggled with any of the things that I've said, then I've been there. And that's why when you come to me, I've got a little more of a deeper understanding of where you're at. And having that sort of scientific background and some medical background means that I can understand different conditions that people have and different symptoms that may have arisen due to how they're feeling as well. Because there's such a strong link between our mind and our body. So that's me, and I've sent you this video because it's possible you don't know who I am and where I come from, and maybe you want to know before you go any further in working with me. Thank you for listening.